Welcome into the PrizePicks Prop Show, presented by FTN. I'm Michael Govier, yours truly, along with Stuart Durst. This is a college football edition of the PrizePicks Prop Show on a Friday. We are going to rock 2 picks each for you, because PrizePicks does for you what they do for us. You give them $100, we'll match it if you use a promo code FTN. So make sure you use PrizePicks. It's such an easy interface to use. Like, Stuart, how easy is it to use PrizePicks? Their user interface makes it so simple that you know exactly what to play and when to play and how you want to play it.
Not only is it super easy, but man, they have so many games too. I mean, I don't know who's the guy that's setting lines for the Old Dominion third-string wide receiver, but I love him. He makes our job fun. He does a great job. It's really, the best college football prop experience there is. So I'm very thankful that it's around and a tool that we get to take advantage of on the show.
Absolutely, no doubt about it. That is the best way to describe how awesome PrizePicks is. The Old Dominion line setter is our hero. Match $100. We'll do it. Put in $100 in PrizePicks. Use promo code FTN, and we'll match up to $100. All right, so Stuart, we are in week 7 now of college football. We've each got 2 picks to share today, 2 prop picks. It is the PrizePicks Prop Show after all. How do you feel about where we're at right now in terms of trends and data and what we could kind of gauge from this season in terms of making our prop plays?
Yeah, no, we finally kind of have a big enough sample size now where we can kind of weed out some of the outliers. We can kind of see who's for real, right? Who's actually performing well against good defenses, and maybe who's only kind of taken advantage of an easy schedule so far. It's kind of one of the best times of the year where maybe the line makers aren't so sure yet, but we can kind of stick our nails in, find those definitive opinions, the people that we think, hey, they're not paying enough attention to yet. And it's the best time of year, man. I'm excited.
Absolutely, yeah. I feel very confident in the picks I've made for this week because we have the information on these teams. It's not week 2, it's week 7. So let's get into the first play today. Stuart Durst, what is your first prop play here on the PrizePicks Prop Show?
Sounds good. I'm going to be rolling with Max Duggan over 300 passing yards for TCU today. Ooh, I'm excited for this one, man. TCU, Oklahoma State, been two of the more intriguing teams in college football so far this season. And Duggan has a great story, right? Started the season on the bench, did not actually win the starter job out of camp. And now he's in the Heisman conversation right now. When you look at the matchup, Oklahoma State has only really played in 3 competitive games so far. We got Texas Tech last week against a rookie making their first ever start. We got Baylor, and we got Central Michigan. And all 3 of those games, they give up well over 350 passing yards, including, like I said, 379 to a Texas Tech rookie that was making his debut last week, and over 450 passing yards to Central Michigan earlier this year. Duggan has been insane. 300 passing yards consistently every game except once since entering the starting lineup. And the one game he missed, he was at 280 passing yards. He just ended up coming just short because they were running the ball in the 4th quarter. I think this will be a competitive game, and I expect him to continue to add to that Heisman resume and all that hype we're seeing right now because it's been a fun ride so far.
Absolutely. TCU is a high-flying offensive machine, and there's no doubt about Max Duggan hitting that number. I feel very confident in that choice. That's a great call, Stuart. My first play is Mr. Ott, Jaden Ott of the California Bears. He's at 98.5 total rushing yards. I'm taking the over of 98.5. The Bears are taking on the lowly Colorado Buffaloes. And even though the Buffaloes fired Carl Dorrell as their head coach recently, it doesn't really change their talent level or how much more they can get out of that defense, which is not good at all. They're bottom 5 in the country in giving up rushing yards, almost 300 rushing yards a game, Stuart. 294 rushing yards a game Colorado's defense gives up. That's bonkers. That's absolutely bonkers. So Jaden Ott easily should be able to hit this number. I'm targeting a very weak team that is, there's nothing to play for. They're not going to salvage the season, get a bowl here. I know they've got pride, and every player goes out there, and they're like, yeah, today's our day. Nobody goes out there to give up, especially in college football. But sooner or later, the talent will rise to the top. And the California Bears are not a great team, but they're good enough to go against the Buffaloes and give me Jaden Ott, the running back, over 98.5 rushing yards.
Yeah, no, I mean, like you kind of mentioned, the fired coach narrative can really only take us so far, right? You can really only do so much with all that energy, emotion you get from it. At the end of the day, they've been a very bad football team this season, and one that we've loved to exploit with props so far this season. So like you said, California also isn't the greatest team in the world, but they've shown they can establish the run so far this season. I don't think they'll have a problem doing that once again.
Yeah, the Bears are known for their defense, but they've been able to score some points this year. So don't be surprised that Ott covers this easily. It should be by the third quarter. I'm calling it. Jay Ott's going to roll over 98.5. All right, Stuart, what is your second prop play on the PrizePicks Prop Show?
Yep, I'm bringing us over now to Kentucky, where I'm going with Chris Rodriguez and his rushing yards over 88.5. He's been really good. He's only come back, only played 2 games. Obviously, someone Kentucky's been waiting to get back, one of their best offensive skill position players. And now it's looking like they're finally going to get their starting quarterback back as well, a combination that they really haven't seen 2 of their best offensive players on the field so far. His first game back, he didn't quite break out. He had about 72, 73 yards. But that was obviously against a pretty tough matchup. His first game back, getting used to the offense, all those kind of variables. Last week, he finally showed out, went for over 100 yards, over 20 carries. And additionally, if you were watching that game, they couldn't get their defense off the field in the third quarter. I could have seen him going well over 150, 160 rushing yards if that defense could make a stop. They didn't end up doing that, but I actually think that's good for us, right? It helps us. We get a less inflated number right here. I just like this Kentucky offense in a game that I think will be pretty high scoring so far. We've seen Mississippi State. Obviously, they can put points on the board. We all know that offense is good. We've seen them get beat in the run game so far this season. I expect it to be a competitive game. I expect it to be a high-scoring game, and I really do think Kentucky puts a lot of work in to continuously get one of their best offensive players the ball. So I'm very excited to watch this game, another one that's going to be very enjoyable, and I think Rodriguez is someone that is going to get the job done.
Is Will Levis cleared to play in this game?
It's still up in the air from everything I'm seeing, but I'm seeing trending with the line movement on the actual spread. I'm seeing it trending towards looking like he actually might play.
Yeah, that's huge. Either way, if he's not 100% and they have to rely on Rodriguez, that's a bonus. Who's no slouch. Rodriguez is a great player. So if they have to go more on the ground against a Mississippi State team that can be taken advantage of on the ground, I like it. I think it's a great play. Good call, Stu. All right. My second play, my final play of the show is a human being who plays in the Big Ten. He's a wide receiver, and his name is Charlie Jones. He plays for Purdue, Purdue right now, they're kind of in the driver's seat for the Big Ten West. I mean, they can end up in Indianapolis for the Big Ten title game this year. They've had some huge wins recently. They beat Maryland, they beat Minnesota, and they should have beat Syracuse probably on the road too. I mean, they could probably be even better than they are. So I'm taking Charlie Jones over 90.5 total receiving yards. They're going up against Nebraska. Once again, I'm targeting a weak defense. Nebraska's defense is a sieve. They're weak. I don't fear them. Now, Charlie Jones has had some higher numbers like this, and he hasn't hit them, even though Aiden O'Connell has thrown the ball all over the place. So O'Connell is spreading the ball out a bit more, and I can understand why you might see this high number and be like, wow, that's a lot of yards to hit, but I don't think that's the case in this game, just because Nebraska can be exploited offensively when the offense is attacking that weak defense. So Aiden O'Connell to Charlie Jones, heck, it could be in 3 catches. This could happen in a very small amount of time. He could hit 100 yards receiving. I expect that to happen. I know it's a little bit higher for a receiving total prop. I do understand that, but I think 90.5 is doable. Lock it in. Charlie Jones, Purdue, 90.5 receiving yards. Am I nuts or what? Am I out to lunch, as people used to say in 1948?
No. I love that Purdue passing attack. That is a fun team, right? They're going to keep throwing the ball. And it kind of reminds me of the Nebraska secondary of a team like Michigan State. You want to target them deep. You want to target them on the outside. That secondary is not good. And Nebraska can also put up enough points where Purdue's not just going to stop throwing, right? They're not going to give up. They're not going to establish the run. Like you said, they're in an important position right now. I think they're going to keep playing to their strength and throwing to one of their best receivers. And honestly, one of the best receivers in the country so far this season, having a great year. I'm excited for this one as well. I love this Purdue offense, man.
Yay, all right, look at that. Well, we're in lockstep here. That's Stuart Durst. You got to follow him on Twitter at Monotone Football. Follow me on Twitter, MJ Govier. Of course, a review of our plays today here on the PrizePicks Prop Show presented by FTN. We've got Stuart going with a main man, Mr. Rodriguez. That's right, Mr. Rodriguez of Kentucky. He's taking the over Chris Rodriguez in a rushing prop, which is going to kill. I have a real good feeling about it because when Stewart speaks, I listen. Over 88.5 total yards. And then, of course, Max Duggan of TCU, the quarterback, over 300.5 passing yards today. And then I'm taking My man out of California, Jaden Ott, over 98.5 rushing yards against Colorado. And Charlie Jones of Purdue, wide receiver, over 90.5 receiving yards. There it is. That's the show. Thanks so much for watching. We want to thank Quan, our producer. He always gets us looking good. And Chris gets us in, gets us out. Make sure you use the promo code FTN on the PrizePicks app. It'll match up to $100 on PrizePicks. You got a great weekend of college football, some really good games. This is the ideal time to jump into PrizePicks and use that promo code FTN and get that $100 match. Be exciting. All right, thanks, everybody. This has been the PrizePicks Prop Show. I'm Michael Gouvier. He's Stuart Durst. We'll see you.